وفي العز للعبد الذليل تبلغ بالقليل من القليل بالقليل من القليل وأي الساد للسفر الطويل وأي الساد للسفر الطويل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين حبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. صدق الله العظيم. Beloved viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The verse of the Holy Quran, or the part of the verse which I have quoted to you, translated and amplified, means a good purifying word is like a tree of the best species, whose roots are well ground and sound, and whose branches spread towards the heavens. When we look at Allama Iqbal's works, we find that we can relate him to this ayah or these words of the Holy Quran. We find that whatever he said was pure and good and in praise of Allah and Muhammadur Rasulullah, and for the betterment of mankind, humanity, creation at large. His life and works reflect this. When you look at his life, you see that he has spoken or written words of wisdom derived from the Quran and the example of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He does not want to reinvent the wheel, as we say in our parlance. He gets his wisdom from the very source of wisdom, Allah, and the very source that Allah has provided us with, and that is the Holy Quran. And that is why when he is charged and sees that no one does that, and they are in the pangs and the fangs and the clutches of selfish leaders, he cries out sadly, and he tells us, Beband e Sufi o Mullah Asiri. You are in the clutches and the grasp of the Sufi and the Mullah. You do not take wisdom from the pages of the Quran. Your only job with the Quran is that when you are dying, someone must read Yasin over you. That is your job with the Quran. There are tons and tons of little Yasin kitabs that are brought in when somebody is dying or dead. Is the Quran a book for the dying? Or is it a book for the living, as the Quran says, that this is the book which yuhyikum, which pumps life into you, revives you, revitalizes you. That is why Iqbal asks the Muslim, and he must answer this: Ya Musalman murd, Ya Quran murd. Is the Muslim dead or is the Quran dead? Because the Quran is supposed to put that transfusion into you and give you life and vibrance. Why are you dead? Or is the Quran dead that it is worthless transfusion? Come on. We have to admit that we are voluntarily dead. But he wants the Muslim to be a walking, talking Quran. ये राज किसी को नहीं मालूम के मोमिन कारी नजर आता है हकीकत में है Quran. Why doesn't everyone unravel this open secret that a Muslim seems to be one who reads the Quran, but in reality he is the living Quran, the walking Quran, the talking Quran, the vibrant Quran. But as he says that you, O Muslim, it's a shame on you, he says, Sahib Quran o bezoqe talab, Sahib Quran o bezoqe talab, al-ajab, thumma al-ajab, thumma al-ajab. You own the Quran, O Muslim, and you haven't got the passion, and you haven't got the wherewithal and the zest and the enthusiasm to achieve and do things and act. Al-ajab. Oh, it's unbelievable. Ta'ajjub ki baat hai. Al-ajab, it's strange. Thumma al-ajab. And indeed, it is absolutely unbelievable. How can you have this elixir of life, this solution for all problems, and you are motionless, you are rudderless, spineless? How can you be the owner of the Quran? So the owner of the Quran is not a person that just reads and recites. Because Allama Iqbal wants us to live Islam through the Quran. Iqbal attracted the attention of the Muslim world through the simple reason that he interpreted Islam in the contemporary spirit, the spirit of today. He advocated its revival and devoted all his poetic art to ventilate Islamic spirit. His poetry as a whole is a translation of the Quran and the lifestyle of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he inculcated the love of Muhammadur Rasulullah to an extent that without the devotion to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and without his love, and without making him your role model, your Islam was incomplete. So Allama Iqbal, he wanted every Muslim to be vibrant. Tere darya mein tufan kyun nahi hai, khudi teri musalman kyun nahi hai. Why is there no tempest in your ocean, O Muslim? Why aren't you a Muslim, you still person, you person that is dead and lifeless? Khudi teri musalman kyun? Why aren't you a restless Muslim? Abath hai शिकवा तकदीर यज़दां तो खुद तकदीर यज़दां क्यों नहीं है? When it is useless, it is to expect the destiny of God to act and come into existence. Why don't you become the destiny of God? Why don't you become the destiny of God? Then Allah will use you to fulfill His destiny. You have got this chance, but you are sleeping and sleeping. And then many people have said that Iqbal is Islam incarnate. Everything he did, it was Islam, Islam in Islam. His economics were Islam. His politics were Islam. His science was Islam. Everything was Islam. And that is why he finds that we are in the clutches of a class that keeps us away from the Quran and wants us to be under their hegemony and rule. And they tell us not the Quran, but superstitions and fairy tales and tales. And he cries, Haqiqat khurafat mein kho gayi. Haqiqat, the reality of Islam and reality of life, reality of existence, is lost in superstition. Haqiqat khurafat mein kho gayi. Ye ummat riwayat mein kho gayi. This ummat of Muhammadur Rasulullah is lost in fairy tales and stories. All the authentic verses of the Quran and the authentic speech of Muhammadur Rasulullah are left aside, and people tell us stories, stories and stories. And that is why Iqbal is not popular. When I speak on Iqbal, people still come to ask me, who's Iqbal? And their forefathers were India or Pakistanis. They don't know who's Iqbal. Their forefathers did not know who was Iqbal. So it is our job that we popularize Iqbal, and we read Iqbal, and we live Iqbal, because today, inshallah, we will find what we need in this era in the works and writings of Iqbal. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
تبلغ بالقليل من القليل بالقليل من القليل وعيسد للسفر الطويل وعيسد للسفر الطويل وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفيه البعد مع خزي وبيل